Let's get you started with your sewing machine and get you ready to start sewing. Welcome, I do sewing and DIY related content, and today we're doing a little kickstart into sewing series where we're going to be talking about your sewing machine. So getting you ready to use your sewing machine, this is going to be part of the series. We're going to be talking about stitches, your bobbin, your thread, needles, presser foots, all of those fun things that you need to know. We're going to be getting started with them today in this video. Now, the point of this video is not necessarily to walk you through my sewing machine, but to help you with the terminology and tools and ideas that you may need so you're better able to research your own sewing machine and really get started with sewing. So in today's video, we are really going to be focusing on the bobbin, some stitch types, how you turn your machine on, little words and phrases, and then the spool of thread at the top. So the first thing before we really get started that we're going to be talking about is you need to make sure you understand what type of brand and model of machine you have. And the reason for this is machines can vary. So maybe on the front, it may be on the side, the brand or model may be on the back, but be sure you write that down, you have it handy so that if whenever you need to look up something specific about your machine, you're very easily able to find it and you can kind of Google it. Now, I would also highly recommend to have the manual. Now, if you got your machine from like a hand-me-down or you found a yard sale and there was no manual, definitely be sure to Google or go onto YouTube. Somebody probably has your machine and has done some videos on it, or the manual may be online, but this is a great reference for whenever you have any issues or trouble that you're trying to work through. So once you have that, next we're going to be starting to talk about our power button. So on the back or on the side, most likely there is a power button and then there is a cord that you're plugging into the wall so that your machine will turn on. You can see that mine is on the side, and then on the back I also have a spot where I am plugging in the foot pedal. Mine has a foot pedal machine. Some machines though do not have this, and there's like a button on the front. So the button may be here, it may look like a play button almost, and have like slides to make it go faster or slower. Besides that, you can see when my machine is turned on, a light does appear. The needle kind of moves back and forth a little bit just to kind of signal that the machine is on and ready to go. Now let's talk about the thread for our machine. So you can see here that I have a spool of thread, and when you go to the fabric store, you see there's lots of different types of threads. I would highly recommend just an all-purpose thread really to get you started. You want like a good quality one such as Coats and Clark so that it doesn't fray. And then on your machine, there will most likely be little guidance on how you can thread it. So on mine, I have these little images, and then there's even numbered so that you can see how you would go about putting this on. So you can see the dash line is actually if I wanted to thread the bobbin. So mine has the ability to do like an automatic bobbin threader. Not all machines have this, so again, that would be something to look with your manual if your machine contains that or not. And then this very solid line is how I'm going to be taking my thread, tying it underneath, going down, and then actually threading my machine so that it would be able to run. And you can see it goes all the way down, and then it kind of points to you for where you would then put this thread into the needle. So each machine will sort of vary with that, but the big thing here is you can see I have my thread is on the holder, and then there is that little stopper, and that's an important piece because without that the thread will just fall off. So now talking about the bobbin really is sort of the troublemaker of the sewing community. It is so important. You can see here that for my machine, the bobbin just drops in. Almost 80% of your time, any issues that come from your stitches are because of the bobbin. The bobbin needs to be put in exactly the correct way. So you can see my machine, very similar to the top, shows you how you're going to be adding the bobbin in and threading it through your machine. And then there even is a little image on the side that shows you what not to do. And in one of our videos in the series, we will be going through some troubleshooting, and I'll kind of show you what it looks like if the bobbin is not put in correctly, just so that you have an understanding of what could happen and how you would resolve it. So really important to pay attention for how your machine wants the bobbin to go in and the size of the bobbin it uses. So we talked about the bobbin, we talked about the thread, and we have our machine turned on. So now let's talk a little bit about our stitches. So depending on how your machine is set up, you may have it as like little knobs at the top of your machine, you may have it as buttons. As you can see on mine, I have this little computerized screen, and each stitch is given a number. So when you're starting off, you really need to worry about two stitches, and that'd be a straight stitch and a zigzag stitch. The rest of these are really decorative or for a specific purpose. So 0, 0 on my machine is a straight stitch. So this would be used for quilting cottons, any woven materials. So that's what my machine's on right now. And then 04 is a zigzag stitch. So that would be used for stretch fabric such as knits. And these are two very different stitches, as the zigzag allows you to have a little bit more stretch in your seam so that when you are sewing it, if you're using that stretchy fabric, the seam will not pop or come undone. So if you're wondering what's the difference between these two types of fabrics because you're just starting off, here is some knit material. So you can see it has some stretch to it. When I pull, there is some stretch, there's some give. And then you could also see this in fleece. Now some fleece is stretchier than others, but overall fleece can have a stretch to it. And then this is a quilting cotton, no stretch here, so this would be used as straight stitch. And then this knit, the blue, that would be where we would use our zigzag stitch. So this was just a very quick kind of to get you off the ground and to learn some of those vocabulary, as well as to make sure you're understanding a little bit more about your sewing machine before you get started. Our next video will be talking about the needle as well as the presser foot and why they matter, and some of those accessories that may come with your sewing machine and if you need to worry about them right now. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.